Well, hello, everyone. I'm John Gatto, the SID at the University of Scranton, and we have here some members from the men's basketball teams. We do another Royals Rewind here today. Logan Bailey and Jackson Danzig. Guys, today we're going to look back February 26, 2020. Seems like a different time now back in February with everything else that's happened from this point on. And our game at Drew in the Landmark Conference Semifinals, really offensively an historic night for the Royals as we pulled out a good win on the road to move on to the Landmark Conference Championship game. But before we get into that, before we see the highlights from that game and talk about that game, guys, just want to talk about what you've been doing kind of over these last few months. We're in the summer months now, as we're in quarantine, as we're now kind of traveling a little bit and doing some summer activities as safely as we can. What have you guys been doing just to kind of stay in shape and kind of stay up to par as we now go into August here of 2020?
My brothers moved back home, so it's nice to have them around. So we've been going out into the backyard, just playing some hoops, trying to make the most out of it all we can. We got some free weights down in the basement, just trying to make the most of this situation and just trying to look at it with a positive outlook. So when we're back at school and hopefully when we have our season, we're ready to go.
Yeah, I've been pretty much doing the same thing. My brother, who's a year younger, he's the manager for the team. It's just been me and him home with our parents up in Dunmore. So same thing, working out in the driveway, outside with the hoop. A little different than getting in a gym, but shots up. Working out whatever I can.
Yeah, good. So we will go into this game now. So obviously in the regular season with Drew, it seems like over the last few years we've had some really kind of big battles with them. And this past year was really no different. In the regular season, there was a split in the regular season. The road team won both games. On January 29th, we went to Drew and won by 10, 69-59. But then on February 19th, Drew returned the favor. They won 73-70 in Scranton. We kind of let a pretty big lead go there in the second half of that game. And the game pretty much knocked us out of a situation where this game would be at home. Also, the year before, so in 2018-19, we went to Drew and lost in the semifinal 75-69. So going into this game, guys, obviously I'd have to think there was kind of a little bit of revenge on your mind. Obviously, you went there and won earlier in the year, but that was a pretty big win that Drew had here at the end of February, at the end of the regular season. So I got to think going into that game, you guys were kind of chomping at the bit to go there and try to pull out a win in a very raucous environment.
Yeah, definitely. Especially after losing that position to them at the home game. Definitely a little lit a fire under us. We were ready to go. We had them down pat at that point. We know we did wrong in that game at home. So we were ready to get back at them for sure.
Yeah, we really came in just like hyper-focused and just wanted to make sure we were getting to that championship game.
All right, so now we're in the highlights portion of the game. We pick up the game here. A few minutes into the ball game, we're up by 4 points. And guys will see here, playing in Drew's gym as Jackson, you make a three there that puts us up 11-4 early on. But guys, as you see, like Drew's gym, kind of small. You both played in the Lackawanna League here in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area. Does this remind you of some of the places that you played in around here?
Yeah, it really reminds me of Westside's gym with the bleachers are just right on the court. You can hear everyone. You can hear everything that everyone's saying. So it really takes a lot to stay focused and make sure you're really locked in and make sure you're giving it your all.
Yeah. It feels like a kind of an AAU environment almost. So everyone's right on top of you. You're really feeding off the energy of the crowd, and Drew brings it every time. So it's a fun place to play in for sure.
So off this miss here, you see a pretty big moment in the game where an outlet pass. Right back to you, Logan. So right out of the gate, you guys are up 13-4 in the first 3 minutes of the game. So how important was it for you guys to get off to such a good start and really kind of take the crowd out of the game right off the bat there? And like you said, a pretty raucous environment.
Yeah, we definitely struggled with that at some points in the season, just coming out a little flat. But we knew if we wanted to get in their heads and get up big, that we had to do it early. So that's what we came in. That was the mindset coming into the game, and I think we really performed well in those early few minutes.
So you see here, as we move ahead a little bit, we are up by 9 points at this point.
Tightly contested off the screen. Off the elbow.
And Matt Mancuso drains a three-pointer. It seemed like he always had the green light to take a three. So let's talk about that. We'll talk a lot about Matt as we go through the game. Really, we'll see as we move along. He kind of takes over the game towards the end. But him taking a three-pointer, when he would do that, would you guys kind of just be like, oh, no, or did he have the green light all the time?
Yeah, we had faith in him. I mean, he was in the gym every day working on his game, trying to get better, and he practiced that shot all the time. So that was a regular thing. We were comfortable with him taking it, and he made it. So we had complete trust in him, and we liked it when he took those shots.
Three was important as it gave us a 12-point lead here halfway through the first half. You see here, off the miss, we immediately go into transition. It's Jackson here taking the ball up here.
Mancuso has it off his foot. Danzig finds an open Blossland. But check that, that's Bailey. Logan Bailey.
So Logan, at this point in the game, 7 minutes in, we're up by 15 points. At that point, we've opened up a double-digit lead. So a common theme that we're going to see throughout this game is obviously offensively how well we played. At this point in the game, even 7 minutes into the game, did you pretty much know that you were on at this point in the game?
Yeah, I definitely say I was feeling it. I was just in the groove of the game. Felt good just getting up and down. I really wasn't missing too much. So, yeah, just kind of at that point, I let it fly.
So we open up this double-digit lead here, and we're getting deeper into the first half and almost to that under 12 mark. And Logan, once again, you're left open and you knock it down. So again, it was basically getting to the point that if they were leaving you open, you were probably going to make it. So when you're in a game like this and you're kind of that you're feeling it. Do you want the ball like constantly? Do you basically want the ball on every possession so that you could try to score and increase that lead?
I mean, yeah, you're definitely itching for it at that point. When you just feel that, it's kind of almost like you're not even in the game. You're like in a different mindset. So obviously I would be hungry for the ball at that point. Just looking for my teammates to find me, stuff like that.
Here we move a little bit later into the first half, and we still hold that double-digit lead. But Drew's hanging around, and this is, something that well be talking about here over the next couple of minutes. And Logan here, you make a really good play off of that. Miss to tip it back in to put us up by 12 at that point, 47-35. But as was the case with Drew, Drew's a very scrappy team, a very tough team. Even when you guys were up 12, and you see here that we're only winning by a point as you get into a minute left, did you know in the back of your mind that this team's probably going to come back at some point and we're going to be in a dogfight?
Yeah, I mean, we came out, we started off really strong, and you already know teams sometimes start off slow, so they're going to come back and have the run of their own. So it's how you manage those runs and how you can handle them, and just to keep working, make sure you're staying to your game plan, keep trying to do what we were trying to do.
The poise was definitely there as we moved through. So at this point in the game, the Drew crowd is really into it. They've cut the lead to a point at this point. Jackson, you make a play here that turns out to be a pretty big play. Let's see. Just creating your own shot and giving us that 3-point lead, which was a lead that we didn't give up then the rest of the half as we go into the second half. So pretty big shot there to end the half, but we went into halftime. The halftime score was 51-50 at the half. Kyle DeVernon made a few free throws at the end of the first half to put us up by 1. Logan, you had 14 points in the first half, and Jackson, you had 13 points in the first half. Very high-scoring first half for both teams, half 100 for both teams. So when you go into halftime, you're up a point. Obviously, you had a big lead, but you saw Drew come all the way back and make it a really interesting game going into the second half. So at halftime, what was kind of the mindset of the team, and what was Coach Danzig telling you guys at halftime leading into the second half?
Well, really it was just that we had to stay in the game. We know it's a game of runs, so both of us at this point had been on our runs. We've been going back and forth, but we know we just didn't want to let it get too far away. We know what happened at home. I think that was in the back of everyone's head that we've lost the lead before, so we were really trying our hardest just to keep the lead, stay right there. And we knew if we fought hard and kept it close that we'd get our run eventually.
Yep, just have to stick to the game plan and it'll all come together.
So the second half begins, and it stays a close game. You see here, almost 4.5 minutes in, Drew has taken the lead in the game by 1 point. But you see, it does not last long as Logan, you go to the paint and put it in. Again, it's an incredible night for you that we'll talk about as we go through the game. But this remains a close game at this point in the game. We still lead by a point here as the time ticks away as we close in that under 12 timeout. And once again, Jackson, you find Logan there open, cutting to the lane, lays it up and in. So Jackson, basically, in your role the last few years, you've been kind of that facilitator as a two guard for us. In this game, and when you see Logan flash into the paint like that, you basically know that you have to give him the ball in that kind of situation and make sure that he scores. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, I mean, if I see him open, he's in that paint, I'm getting him the ball every time. Logan's a great scorer, so I have complete trust and faith in him to make that shot.
So we move along here, and we're on the break yet again. So one thing that we'll see throughout the half, obviously this is a high-scoring game, but one thing that happened throughout the second half, we especially see it as we get into a critical juncture late in the game, is that we defensively started to make some stops that needed to happen. And it seemed like as we got through this course in the game, anytime a team made a stop, it was kind of a big deal because you can then go back on the offensive end and score and try to increase the lead or try to cut into a lead. So defensively in a game like this, what's kind of your mindset, especially as the game moves along and fatigue starts to kind of set in and stuff?
Just stay focused, keep working hard. You don't want to give up. We still have that revenge mindset going because we lost them last year, so we were really trying to get to that championship game, and so we knew we had to buckle down and keep working.
Yeah. At that point, you just got to use every last drop in the tank. You just got to keep going, keep fighting, even if you're so tired. Just got to do your role on defense and get that stop.
Here's Bailey.
So under 14 to go here, and really good pass by Matt to you, Jackson, and you knock down the three-pointer, so that puts us up by 6 at this point early in the second half. This is the biggest lead that any team had early in the second half there. So we'll move along here, 6:36 to go in the second half. We have the lead by 4 points, and really here, guys, is where the game kind of changed big time. And 4-point lead, obviously, is a slim lead, but at this point in the game, we go on a pretty big run that essentially puts Drew away. And see here that it starts with you, Logan. Matt finding you on a really, really good play underneath and scoring. Either a forced shot by Drew, and then we immediately go right back on the attack. Again, only leading by 6 points.
6:02 left.
Logan, you again find yourself open and you knock it down, and we go up by 8 points. And you see there that an offensive foul occurred on that end of the floor that gives us back possession. So huge sequence in the game. Obviously, at this point in the game, with under 8 minutes to go, really at this point, the team that went on a run at this point was probably gonna hang on with the pace of the game. So at this point in the game, you guys got to really think like we may have control of this thing, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at that point, we were seeing. I think everyone was feeling that little swing in motion. The momentum was going our way. So as long as we capitalized on that, we knew we were going to do well.
We definitely did capitalize on it. As you see here, just a few mistakes by Drew, and really in a close game, the team that kind of blinks first is the one that usually doesn't come up on the winning end of it, and that's kind of what happened in this game. They made a few mistakes in critical juncture here in the game. The offensive foul, obviously the quick forced shot there that caused another basket. So move ahead here. We have possession.
Verna. Cuso, jump stop, good.
Matt once again finds himself open, puts it in. And just like that, we're up by 10 points with 5.5 minutes to go. Guys, at this juncture in the game, obviously it was a very similar kind of deal to what happened the last time. Obviously, in that game, it was about 10 minutes. We opened up the double-digit lead, and Drew came back. But even with that double-digit lead with 5 minutes left, there had to be some kind of apprehension. You guys had to know that you just had to basically put your noses down and try to finish the game off.
Yeah, we knew we couldn't relax. We had to keep our foot to the gas pedal, and just keep working until that last second runs off the clock, and make sure we get that win.
Okay, you see here off of inbound,
wide open,
real emphatic statement there by Matt with the dunk to put us back up by 10, and then Drew immediately turns the ball back over to us, and we hold possession. So you see here, time ticking away. We're at 4 minutes left. Foul there by Drew. So that, again, another critical juncture. And once we got the double-digit lead in this game, we never gave it up. We held it the rest of the half, and we'll see here really kind of the last kind of highlight that we'll have with under 4 minutes left. Back, you dump it down to Matt, who a move that we saw 600 times, it seemed like, in his career, the old drop step there into the paint, put it away. And really, from that point on, we're up double digits. As the game started to wear along, it seemed like Drew kind of ran out of steam. Did you guys think that, your conditioning, that all of those, the conditioning that you have in preseason practice and everything, did it benefit you guys late in this game to kind of put this away and really kind of bury them in the last few minutes there?
Yeah. Well, we have a big emphasis on staying in the best shape. We're running in between drills and practices, running in and out of drills. So just the fact that we had that little edge over them definitely helped. And it feels good. You could watch the life drain out of the other teams when you're beating them, you're still feeling good. It really just helps, gives you that competitive advantage. Yeah,
it's a really good feeling when you're seeing the other team like bending over, gasping for air, and you're still feeling fine and ready to keep going.
So obviously in that game at Scranton, Drew was able to come back from the double-digit deficit. It was not to be in this game, as we win at 93-81. To see here, kind of we're dribbling it out. Logan, 31 points for you. It was a season high. You also had 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and the 31 points were the 5th highest in the game by any player in a conference playoff game in the history of the program. Jackson, you ended up with 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. So overall, a really good game for you as well. But most importantly, I think maybe the most important stat is it is a team sport. We scored 93 points, and that was the most points we have ever scored in a conference playoff game in the history of the program. And we also shot 57% from the floor. Just a really just incredible number when you think about in a conference playoff game, shoot 57% from the floor and score 93 points. Just the overall effort from you guys in that game. When you realize, you look at that final stat and realize, wow, we shot that well from the floor. It had to be kind of, I guess, humbling in a way.
Yeah, I mean, you look back at it and you're just like, wow, we played really well. We scored a lot of points. But in the end, we got that win, and it's a great memory,
Yeah, it really just felt like everything was clicking that whole game against a good Drew team that really stuck through it the whole game. So to just come out and get that win was really nice. Felt real great.
Again, obviously the run ended at Susquehanna that Saturday, then a few days later in a hard-fought loss. But, guys, just looking back on the season, it was another successful season for our team. And, just look back on the season. Was this your favorite memory of the year? And then leading into that, we'll see what the season looks like. But I just have to ask, I would imagine that you guys are ready to get back out there and actually play at some point this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, any big playoff win is a good win in my eyes. That was definitely a great game. The energy afterwards, during, before, that whole night, we were really locked in, ready to go. So it just felt great to get that win. It was definitely a highlight of the year.
Yeah, it was definitely a big highlight. Everyone was on the same page, and it was great just to get back on that bus and have that ride home back to Scranton.
Okay, well, guys, obviously we'll see what happens here over the next few months, but I do say just to take care of yourselves. Hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll all be back on campus and doing it safely, getting into the semester safely. And said time will tell whether we will see. Obviously, when we'll see you guys on the court, but I know at some point we will. And I could say for all of us in the athletics department, we're really looking forward to you guys getting back out there and for Royals basketball to return at some point over the next however months. We'll see.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Okay, Logan, Jackson, thank you very much. Have a good rest of the day.
Awesome. Thank you.
You too.